What is going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. Today we have another top 10 players list. Today we are doing the top 10 left fielders heading into the 2023 MLB season. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast, where today we are doing the top 10 left fielders for the 2023 MLB season. We're going through every position. We're up to left field already. Kind of went quick.
Flying through it.
We are flying through it. Left field, I'm very excited. This might have been the most difficult list so far in terms of order and players, because left field is like, you have the star right fielders, you have the star center fielders. Left field, you have stars, but then you have a lot of guys who are similar, but not necessarily because they're similar in stats wise, but like they all have their things that bring them down, they all have their things that bring them up. None of them are like, there are a lot of good left fielders, quality left fielders, is what I'm trying to say. So that made this list a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, and not so much in terms of not knowing who to put at the top, but who to include on the list at all.
Exactly.
There are just so many good left fielders in the game, which is a great sign for baseball, because it feels like at every position there's so many players, so many positions that have so many great, talented players. So you want to get right into it?
Yeah, I'll get right into it. First of all, I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. We did not introduce. I'm ready to get right into it. Do you want to start with your number 10, or do you want me to start with my number 10?
I'll start with my number 10. How's that?
Yeah, you can start with your number 10.
All right,
so who is your 10th best left fielder in baseball?
For my 10th best left fielder in baseball, heading into the 2023 season, I'm giving it to one name that I feel like we have not talked about too much, Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers. Yelich had the best season of his career last year since his 2019 MVP runner-up season, which is good because, we know Christian Yelich has been dealing with a couple injuries the past few years, and it's good to see that he's back on track, and hopefully this year he has a bounce back. He didn't so much play like the MVP Yelich that we remember him for, hitting all the homers, just always getting on base, but he certainly swung a good contact base bat, if that makes sense. We didn't see him swing for the fences too much, but of course, he is Christian Yelich, so he did get 14 home runs last season. And I think that the defense and speed are still there, so there's no reason to really count him out. He's only going to be 31 years old. Christian Yelich comes in at 10.
All right, yeah. Funny, I had Christian Yelich at my 10 as well.
Nice, nice.
I said he's getting better.
Yes.
Since, he's had those injuries since he was that once MVP form player. But now I'm wondering, can he get back to how he was in 2018, 2019? Because he's got a lot of people to prove wrong. A lot of people said he fell off, which he did. To be fair, there's no denying that he fell off. But since he has been not as bad as people think, when you look at Bellinger and Yelich, the two guys who were, 2018, 2019, absolutely dominating the National League, when you look back at them, a lot of people seem to look at Bellinger and see how bad he's doing and kind of assume that Christian Yelich is doing just as bad. Christian Yelich is doing a lot better. He can obviously get better. He's still nowhere near what he was in 2018, 2019. But I think even then, with last season's numbers, he is still a top 10 left fielder. And I think he has the potential to grow and get even better next season once again.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything. I think Christian Yelich making it into our top 10 is a tip of the cap to not only how good he was, but how good he still can be. He's only 31 years old going into this season, so I'm excited to hopefully see his numbers go up even more from last season.
Yeah, I was trying to look at major discrepancies between his 18 season and his 2022, and this is probably the biggest one I found. So, with an even count, when the count is even, whether it's 1-1, 0-0, 2-2, that's it. If the count is even, in 2022, he hit 247 with a 646 OPS.
It's good.
That's not good at all.
It's better than you could do.
Not good at all.
Better than you could do.
I'm not doing it in comparison to me. Let's.
Okay. I thought that it was.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
Anyways.
In 2018, it's extremely bad when you compare it to 2018. 2018, 394 batted, 394 average with a 1.156 OPS with the count even.
Solid.
So if he can, I mean, if every time the count is even, he'll hit 394 and 1.156 OPS. That is an extreme boost stats. Maybe it's something about his approach. I just thought that was a big major discrepancy between his 2018 season and his most recent season. I think he can get back there. You don't just lose that being that kind of player. So I'm excited to see if he can now looking up, because everything is positive right now for him because he's been getting better since he got worse, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. I completely get what you're saying, and I think I can say comfortably that we're both rooting for Christian Yelich to have a great year this year.
Oh, yeah, me too. I think that is safe to say that we're both rooting for that, because I'm definitely rooting for it.
Yep.
Christian Yelich. Here's to a good 2023, Christian Yelich. Do you want me to do my number 9?
Please do.
So in case they haven't noticed by now, we did fail to mention that we did make 2 different lists. Our 10th just happened to be the same. We made 2 different lists, so just to preface. My number 9 is an older guy, coming off a season which he missed many games because of right shoulder surgery. It's World Series champion Michael Brantley. Just got another deal with the Astros. He's back. Last season only played 64 games, but mainly because of injury, that right shoulder. He did have surgery on it, so took him out for most of the year. But he batted .288 with a .785 OPS when he was playing. He's going to be playing left field. I would love to see Yordan Alvarez play more left field than Michael Brantley this season for the Astros. But we did a poll, and you guys said that Yordan will be more of a DH, so I'll respect it. I'd love to see Yordan in the field more than Michael Brantley, but since we're saying Michael Brantley is their left fielder, yeah, I'm going to put him in the left field category. But his counting stats were like low, even like if you put it in a full season. But like his averages are just crazy. Like he can bat .311, he can bat .320, he can have a decently high OPS, and he gets on base all the time. So when you get a player like that, it's kind of hard to deny how good they are, Yeah. It just adds to the stacked Astros lineup, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I expect him to be a really quality left fielder, just kind of do his job. He knows what he's doing. He's going to bat .307 this year, according to my calculations.
307.
30 double season. He's going to do his part on that Astros team, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I understand that. Good coming in at the number 9 is solid. However, he did miss a lot of games, which is why I left him off, and I do think that age is always a factor in sports, and I'm not sure how well he's going to keep performing, especially after coming off an injury.
It's fair. An old guy coming off an injury can be a little iffy.
Yeah, or it could be Justin Verlander.
Yeah, I was going to say, but we saw Verlander last season when a unanimous Cy Young, the gear off coming off injuries.
Right. All right. That's a good spot for him. Number 9 on your list.
So he wasn't on your list?
No, not on my list.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Who was your number 9 then?
For number 9, I had Randy Arozarena of the Tampa Bay Rays. He, last season, stole 32 bags, hit .263, was just an all-around good defender, especially in Tampa. And I think that this is the year for him to get a 40 doubles, 40 stolen bases season. I think that this is the year, and I'm looking forward to watching him play. And don't let it fall into the backdrop when it comes to talking about Randy. His bat is very good for what it is, and it's impressive to see his spray chart because he really does hit. It's almost dead even splits for his hits to like the center field area, like triangle, I should say. The left field triangle and the right field triangle. They're all very, very close together. He really knows how to utilize the whole field. It's pretty impressive. So Randy comes in at my 9 spot.
Yeah, he kind of just hits it everywhere. Randy was actually at my 10, 9, 8, 6 spot.
Okay.
Randy I had a little higher up, mostly because he plays good defense, not great, but good defense, mostly because of his speed. His speed and his power, that mixture is very good. He had 41 doubles last season. Yes. And while I wasn't necessarily watching Rays baseball all that much,
you weren't?
I can assume that a lot of those doubles were, for some other players, would have been singles. Like they not necessarily stretching it out, like being that bold, but just some guys say, "Hey, I don't know if I can make that. I'm not going to go for it," but he just goes for it.
Yeah.
I mean, 41 doubles last season was kind of crazy to me. I love it. I think he'll have 40 doubles because he does stuff like that. He's fast. Like you said, 40 steals. I think that's a possibility. He had 32 this year. Mm-hmm. He just does a little bit of everything on offense. His average is pretty good. 263 average last season. It can get up to 270, 275 around there. So that's average. And then power, he's got the power. He had 20 homers this year, 41 doubles. And then, of course, the speed, which we said, the 32 steals and 3 triples. So I really am high on Randy Arozarena. I think he's a good part of the Rays team.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing that held me back from putting him higher on this list was that although he does have a good bat, it's not as good, in my opinion. It's not better than the 8 guys ahead of him. You know, he's very, I don't want to say average, he's above average with the bat, but he's not, like, knock your socks off type, you know?
Yeah.
If he were able to bat, like close to, 300 with his other tools, then we would be talking about one of the best left fielders in baseball.
Yeah. Another thing, he strikes out a lot, so
yeah.
that comes with the lower-ish average. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him maybe put the batting average up a little bit, but I don't know. Considering he has so much power and he's not like this, oh yeah, I'm going to be top 5 MVP every year kind of guy. I think if he hit 300, his OPS would be up too. And I think he would easily be this guy might be able to be a top 10 MVP voting like every year.
Okay. I can understand that.
I mean, this guy hitting 300, that would bring a lot of the numbers up, and he already has 20 homers and 41 doubles. Those numbers would also probably go up a little bit. Like, those are some really, really good numbers. With the steals, it's good.
That's impressive numbers if he were to be batting 300. So
that's why I had him at my 6.
Yeah, you had him at 6. I had him at 9. So then go ahead and tell me who your number 9 is.
Well, my number 9 is Michael Brantley.
Oh, okay. So we're up to 8.
8, yeah.
Go ahead.
My number 8 for left fielders this season is Chris Bryant. I put him this low because missed a lot of games last season, had a foot injury that kept him out most of the season. He only played 42 games, but in those 42 games, he batted .306 with an .851 OPS. Like, he played good in those games. And his defense is good considering he's like still a fairly new left fielder. He only really started when he was on the Cubs right before he was traded.
Yeah.
Before that, he really didn't play the outfield. So he's still good comparatively considering how new he is. But like I said, it's hard for me to tell right now because of how little games he played last season. It's hard to gauge. Like, yes, he batted .306, but do we know if that's how the whole season would have played out if he wasn't injured? So I think it's a little hard for me to determine exactly where to put him, which is why I wound up putting him a little lower on this list. I think at his peak, and if he has a really, really good bounce back season this year, I think he can be even a lot higher on this list. But for now, I'm going to have to put him at 8 just because, like, we know how good he is, but we haven't really been reminded of that in a while. So once he reminds us, then I'll put him up more. But that's my thought for Chris Bryant.
All right. I can understand that. I left Chris Bryant off my list for the reasoning that you mentioned of, we don't really know how it's going to play out off of coming off the injury. And so far in spring training, he looks really, really good, which is a great sign. If it were top 11, I probably would have put him 11th. You know, it's one of those type of guys for me as of right now. But definitely ask me halfway through the season if he stays healthy, and I would probably tell you that he's in my top 10 now.
Yeah, I see that.
I hesitated.
I see the thought of leaving him off, but even with that injury, like he's still only he's only 31. He's not just gonna fall off a cliff. And in the games he played last year, he played good.
Yep.
So like I don't think he's just gonna fall off a cliff. And like if you go based off his numbers from past seasons, he's gonna be a top 10 left fielder. Like that's just my opinion at least. Like if you go based off last season and just assume he's not gonna fall off a cliff at age 31, which he's not. I kind of just would say, yeah, he's probably going to be a top 10 left fielder. So.
All right, I can understand that. So should I give you my number 8?
Yeah, then who was your number 8 in that case?
At my number 8, I had Masataka Yoshida of the Boston Red Sox.
Okay, fair.
Now I get it. He's coming over from the Japanese baseball league, coming to America, playing a different. I shouldn't say form. He's playing a different type of baseball. You know, there are a few little minor changes in like the size of the ball, the regulations of certain things, the height of the mound, how the ball comes in. However, when a dude hits 336 for batting average with an OPS of 1.007, there's no denying that he knows how to hit a fucking baseball.
Yeah.
He is going to be great, especially in Fenway Park, considering that I believe, no, he bats left. Oh my god, I thought that he was a righty-righty. So he bats left, but even then, still, Fenway Park, there's plenty of open green grass to hit the ball, and with the power that is talked about with him, and the display that has been said that he can put on offensively, I have no doubt that clearing the wall in any part of any ballpark will not be difficult for him. And, you know, the defense, yes, he's going to be playing left field in Fenway Park for half of his games. So, like, you can't really factor it in too much because it's one of the smallest left field parks in all of baseball. So, I don't worry about it too much there. So, I went strictly off of offense for the most part. Masataka Yoshida at number 8 for me.
Yeah, I left him off my list for the reason of him coming over. Mm-hmm. I will 100,000% say, okay, maybe not 100,000, but I will 95% chance that he will be on my list next season. Like, I think he's going to be just fine. But for me, I just couldn't because of the fact that he's coming over from Japan first season. I feel like I'll let him sit in that limbo zone for me because you don't really ever know. There are a lot of guys who play really, really good and come over and just don't play good at all. Which, do I think that'll necessarily happen to him? No. But that's for me what really kept him off. I just didn't want to take that chance.
Yeah, I can understand that, and I wanted to take the chance because I think that his numbers are proven that he knows how to play baseball really well, and I think that's all it boils down to.
I would hope he does.
Yeah, that's true.
He better know how to play baseball really well, unless the Red Sox are screwed.
Yeah,
they handed him 5 years.
Then the Red Sox should have just signed me for 5 years at that amount of money.
Yeah, they signed them for 5 years, so he's going to be there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Certainly excited for that.
Yeah,
but yeah, Masataka Yoshida, one of the more underrated moves of the offseason. I think that's how it will pan out to be.
I agree.
But I am excited to watch him play.
Fair enough.
So, was that your 7?
That was my 8.
Your 8.
So you're on 7 now.
So, I'll do my 7. My number 7 was another guy who did not play that much last season. Eloy Jimenez of the Chicago White Sox. Why? What's funny?
No, just go.
Eloy Jimenez, yes, he only played 84 games last season, and he's not good defensively. But I think his offensive numbers have potential, and they can be very, 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 very good if he stays healthy for a whole season. He played half a season last year, 84 games, just above. Batted .295 with an .858 OPS. 16 homers, 12 doubles. This is just all in half a season. So should he have played the full season, you can only imagine what his numbers would have looked like. My biggest thing is, don't get injured while playing the field. Because you are there for your bat. Do not get injured while you're playing the field. Because I do think they will keep him in left field. I think at some point he's going to have to get used to playing the field. Because again, he's only 26. So I don't know. And not to mention, he hit better as a left fielder rather than a DH. I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but he did.
Okay.
It's significantly better here. I could pull up the numbers. Do I think that has correlation? It would be an extreme coincidence if it didn't have correlation. As a left fielder, he hit 40 with a 900 OPS. And as a DH, he hit 274 with an 843 OPS. So when he's playing the field, he focuses less on power. That's what I've come to the conclusion of. But yeah, no,
Okay.
Eloy. I'm excited to watch Eloy. I want him to stay healthy really bad. So now tell me why you're laughing. Come on.
I left him off my list, and I don't believe that after I feel like we always drink the White Sox Kool-Aid of like, hey, you know, their left fielders good, their shortstops good, their center fielders good, they have a good pitching staff, let's see if they do something. And I've sort of taken my foot off the gas with that, and partially because I thought that Eloy would be more of a DH only moving forward with the White Sox, but we'll have to wait and see.
I don't think so. I think he will play the field. Right now, I mean, he did last season. He played the field a lot last season. I don't know. I'm just hoping he does play the field But now that I think about it, I might have messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Benny is in left now.
Correct.
I'm gonna stick with it. I still think Eloy is.
All right.
I'm still listing him as a left fielder. I'm still keeping it. I still think he's gonna be incredible next season. Because I know you hate Eloy Jimenez, but listen, I don't have. I know you want. I know you hate him with the burning passion, but I like him. I want him to play good. I think his numbers are really promising. Whether he's a White Sox or not, he could be an alien for all I care. His numbers are good. So if he plays a whole season of these numbers, would be very, very good. So that's where I'm having him.
All right. So it's my turn to do 7.
Yeah, you can do your 7.
At my number 7 spot, I put Mark Canha of the New York Mets. I feel like he's such a good option for especially the Mets. Yeah. Led the league in hit by pitches last year. Not easy to do. Back-to-back reigning hit by pitch champion of the Major League Baseball Association.
What did you just say? The Major League Baseball Association. That's ridiculous.
But he's just a very solid bat, especially for this bottom half of the Mets lineup. That they need a guy in that bottom 3 or 4 to really perform well. And Canha, I think, is a great guy to lean and put your hat on of being that guy. And honestly, last year, without him going through a couple of bad streak of games, we would be talking about him having a 800 OPS. But he finished with just below that at 770, along with a 122 OPS plus. And I think that he plays good defense for left field.
Okay, I left him off.
Fair enough. Again, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, no.
Left field is a deep position.
There was a lot of guys, and I went a lot based on the guys who I think can be very good next season. Because you didn't go with the 2 injured guys. Correct. You didn't really go with the guys who played less games last year, and I did because they're not gonna play. Hopefully, they're gonna be playing games. But Canha was very good for the Mets last season. He was very just stay still. He was that guy. He was gonna be there playing. And that's what he did. 28 times he was hit by a pitch.
Yeah, not
what
easy
a guy.
to do. Not easy
That's
to do.
3 more than second place.
True.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Yeah, I like Canha. I think he's going to be another just key part of the Mets team this season.
Yeah.
But again, did not make my list.
For sure.
But I could see why he made yours.
So you've done 10 through 6 now, right?
Yeah, you do your 6 now. Because Randy Arozarena was my 6.
Right. So for my 6, I put Jock Peterson of the San Francisco Giants. I think that the shift will definitely greatly benefit him. The banning of the shift, I believe he'll do pretty well there. He throughout his entire career has not missed on the pitches that he's sitting on, type of deal. Usually it tends to be fastballs that are just clipping the zone up, which shows off his power, and it's fun to watch. He's a great player, and the fact that he hit 23 homers where he played half of his games at Oracle Park is impressive. And I think that he just, based off the potential of the bat alone in the Giants lineup, I think that he's going to do really well this season.
Objection.
Yes.
I don't think he's going to be their left fielder.
Okay.
I think Conforto's going to play left.
You sure he wouldn't play like center or right and then Mitch Haniger? DHs?
No, Haniger's going to be... No, I think Jock would be a better DH. If you're looking at defensive alignment, Jock is not the greatest defender.
Where does Fangraphs have him? Let's take a look.
They have Jock at DH.
Really?
I'm just thinking about defense. Jock does not... Compared to Conforto's defense, Jock does not have that defense. Same thing with Yaz and Haniger.
Mike Yastrzemski in center.
Jock is not playing center.
No, I know. I feel like they would move Michael Conforto over to center.
Conforto can't cover that much ground.
I think he could.
No, he cannot. Conforto...
I think he could, is what I'm saying.
I think he can't.
Okay.
If that's what I'm saying. I don't know. But I'll since I made the Eloy DH, we'll let the Jock thing pass.
It'll be decided on opening day because it's still up in the air.
I mean he will be playing left field, but I don't think he's going to be playing left field that much, you know.
All right. We'll have to just wait and see then. How's that?
Cuz they have 4 quality outfielders right now. Yastrzemski is going to probably be playing center mostly. And they have Austin Slater, so they really have 5. I don't know, it depends. I think he will be spending a decent amount of time at DH though.
Yep.
Okay. Fair, I guess.
All right. I whatever. But yeah, so that's my number 6, Jock Peterson. Oh, excuse me.
All right, so now we're in our top 5s.
We are. Do you want to give yours first?
Yeah, I'll give my 5.
Okay.
My 5 is the guy from the White Sox that I was talking about earlier, or that I mentioned earlier, Andrew Benintendi. He just signed a 5-year, $75 million deal with the White Sox.
He is also my 5, by the way.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
that works.
Solid.
28 years old. Last season, he kind of let his power slip a little bit so that he can get that average up. He batted .304 last season in 126 games. Had a 122 WRC plus. He was bringing in runs. He was creating runs. He was getting on base, letting people drive him in. He only had 5 homers, like I said, but 23 doubles, a lot of singles, ton of singles. He was just getting on base as much as he could. Really good defense as well. I think this is a really good signing for the White Sox, and I think he's going to be a really good player for the White Sox all season. He doesn't really strike out either, which is always a good sign.
And I think Benny has the speed to be able to steal bases, which he has not done throughout his career. But I think if any team were to push him to really steal bases and, progress the run environment more, it would be the Chicago White Sox, who, depending on how their offense is going, could really need a guy like Benintendi to put some pressure on the pitcher or the catcher to steal second, to steal third type of thing.
Fair. I'm also interested to see how they use him, see if maybe they stretch him out of his comfort zone, because it feels like that's kind of what happened when he was on the Royals at the beginning of last season. It was kind of like, yeah, he was that guy on the Red Sox. He was a quality player. But then when he came on the Royals, it was more of a different narrative of just, this guy is getting on base, like, all the time. He's batting .300. At some point in the season, he was batting .320 or, like, .310.
Yeah,
and everyone was kind of noticing.
Traded.
And everyone was like, wow, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, Andrew Benintendi's doing the damn thing. Mm-hmm. And he was. So I'm glad that, like, there is a opportunity for them to kind of make him a player that's different from what he was in Boston and similar to what he was last year, as like the next step in his career. I would like to see a little more power, that being said, just a little bit more. Like, it doesn't need to get back up to where it was in, like, Boston and everything, but I would like to see a little bit more power, like, maybe like 10 homers and then just, like, kind of hit the ball a little harder.
Okay.
A couple more extra base hits. Just extra base hits in general. I want to see a few more this season. But I think if he bats .300 again, that's amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Andrew Benintendi coming in at 5 on both of our lists. Pretty cool. So should I give my 4, or do you want to give your 4 now?
No, you give your 4.
All right. Number 4, I had Ian Happ.
I also had him at 4.
Of the Chicago Cubs.
Ian Happ was my 4.
Yep. Very, very good outfielder. Played the most games of his career so far last season, where he put up the best stats. was an all-star for the first time in his career. Won the Gold Glove as a left fielder, which is solid. And I feel like being a switch hitter doesn't get talked about enough because it's really like an impressive feat when you think about it, that someone can be at a major league level of hitting a baseball from both the left side of the plate and the right side of the plate. And the fact that Ian Happ did it with a 119 OPS plus and just missing the 800 OPS mark at 781 is impressive. And I think it flies a little bit under everybody's radar. Ian Happ at number 4 from the Chicago Cubs.
Okay, fair. I mean, I had him for most of those same reasons. He had a career year last season. He's only 28 years old. He could be entering the prime of his career. He could be getting even better next season, which I think he will. He strikes out a good bit, but in my opinion, it's not enough to complain about because his averages are still really good. He batted .270 last season. OPS just below 800. Put together a really nice season overall, and I applaud Ian Happ for his good season. Have another good one.
Yeah.
So he's my number 4. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
He does hit a little worse when batting lefty. So, like you said, he is a switch hitter. He bats a little worse lefty, but at the same time, it kind of his righty makes up for it.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well,
I can get behind that.
Ian Happ at our number 4. So that's our
4.
second one in a row that we had at the same spot.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Should I say my number 3 now?
Please do.
My number 3, going into his sophomore season in the MLB, Stephen Barry Bonds Kwan. I struggled with whether to put him second or first. What it came down to is this is his second season in the majors. Let's see if he can replicate.
Okay. I put him at my 3 spot as well, by the way.
Okay. Love to see it. I want to see him replicate before I can put him higher because, I mean, batted .298 last season, 147 games, came third in Rookie of the Year voting. Had a really good case. He kind of put together a really good case by the end of the season. Yes, only 6 homers, but let's be honest. When you're batting .300, you don't need to be hitting a lot of home runs. Like, that's for the stars. And Stephen Barry Bonds Kwan is focused on getting on base, helping his team win, and that's exactly what he was doing. Not only that, but he has really good defense.
Yeah.
So.
And you cannot factor out the note that he is extremely fast.
He is very fast.
Like, for playing left field, especially in Progressive Field, is it still Progressive Field in Cleveland?
Probably.
I think it might be, if not the
playing in Cleveland.
Yeah, the Guardian Stadium, that left field looks very daunting, especially with that big left center field wall that is like the home run area, and the fact that he mans it so professionally and handles it so well is impressive.
What does that mean?
What
do you mean professionally?
Like, he's good at it.
Oh, okay.
He's like a professional at it.
That just confused me. Handles it so professional. No, sorry.
He handles it so well.
It threw me off because when I hear that, I think of like an object, or like a situation, like I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, Stephen Barry Bonds Kwan, just a great all-around player, sophomore player who hopefully will just get better as time goes on. I would love to see him bat .300 this year and maybe go to start the season. How about 117 pitches seen without a swing and miss? Let's do one better than last year.
To start the season?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Yep. And steal 20 bases. He was 1 off last year.
Yeah, 7 triples, 19 steals. Speed is the underrated part of his game that I'd like to see come out even more next season. Like you said, with the stolen bases, I'd love to see more than 20. I'd love to see get him close to 30. Just start stealing a little more. And I would like to say one more thing. If May of last year didn't happen, he might have won the batting title. I didn't do the exact calculations. However, he hit like very bad in May. If I could pull up the stats right now. In May of 2022, obviously 2022, he's a rookie. In May, he hit
173.
Yes. In May, he hit 173. In every other month, he hit 300, 340, 350, 315, 309. Without that, I feel like he might have been close to winning the batting title. So that's just something I wanted to throw out. So even though he had a below a 300 average, if you take out that May, his average is well above 300. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see Stephen Kwan outperform everyone's expectations again this season. I think he'll bat 320 this season. I think he will just absolutely put those numbers through the roof. I want to see at least 25 steals.
Okay.
Let's hit 7 triples again too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Stephen Kwan, my number 3, and your number 3. So
we
matched up pretty well. I can almost guarantee. No, I don't want to guarantee, but very good chance we have the same player here.
1.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to give us then your number 2?
Yeah. Do you want to do number 2 or no? You can do number 1. My number 2 left fielder for the 2023 MLB season is Kyle Schwarber, Washington Nationals legend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nationals legend. He's a current Philly, but he's a Nationals legend. Last year, he was very consistent, played 155 games. Yes, he batted .218, but he led the National League with 46 home runs. I'm aware his defense is not good. Negative 13 outs above average and out in left field.
It's pretty good.
But like I said, led the NL in homers, and he does his job. He's going out there with a .218 batting average and a .323 on base. He still has an .827 OPS last season, that is. Yes, batting average, high strikeouts, but the homers are there. He drives in a lot of runs. He is a very valuable bat in the lineup, and the best part is he can bat leadoff. Yep. Like, he is a genuine option for a leadoff hitter for the Phillies, and I think that's what they're gonna do next season. So I'm really excited to see him have another big power season and hopefully have 46 home runs again, or 47. I have him slated to get 47 home runs. I want to see him replicate the season.
47. All right, fair enough. Well, if it were not for Aaron Judge being on cloud 9, we would be talking about how Kyle Schwarber led the majors in home runs, and Kyle Schwarber actually came in at my number 1.
Your number 1?
Yes, he came in at my number 1. I will admit that I think it was not so much of just his ability, because obviously he did really, really well offensively and the defense was not there. It was more so my number 2 not playing to the expectations that I feel like we put on him nowadays. And I do think that by the end of the season, by the end of the 2023 season, we'll be talking about how these 2 players have flipped on my list, at least.
I know who your number 1 is. Your number 2 is. I will say I strongly disagree.
Okay, who's your number 1 then?
My number 1 is your number 2.
Okay.
My number 1 is Juan Soto.
My number 2 is Juan Soto.
I don't think you can put him below Kyle Schwarber because he had a down year and a year that he was traded. I don't know. I don't think it's fair. I don't like that at all. Considering Soto is younger, so Soto's 24, Schwarber's 30. Soto has a higher ceiling. Soto has more potential to be good this year. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like having Schwarber above Soto. It doesn't feel right. When you ask me, like, if someone were to walk up to you and just be like, is Kyle Schwarber a better left fielder than Juan Soto? You'd say yes.
Yes.
I don't think you believe in that answer.
And it's not so much as Juan Soto is falling off, because obviously he's not. Like Alex just said, he's 24 years old this season. It's more so that Kyle Schwarber is coming off of the best year of his career that I feel like going into the 2023 season, I have to put him above.
I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to. I think...
Well, I did.
I think
there's nothing changing.
What we know Soto can do is just... walk machine. Let MLB in walks by far.
Yes.
I think he's going to get comfortable in San Diego and have an absolute monster of a season. It's a contract year for him. Depending on how he plays this season, he will be making a lot of money next offseason. I think all that combined, he'll play 100% of the games next season in left field, according to Bob Melvin. They are going to put Tatis in right, and he's going to be playing left. So I don't know. I think he'll get comfortable, even though not good defense. But especially when you're comparing him to Schwarber, he's got good defense compared to Schwarber. I don't know. I think Juan Soto is going to go off next season. Yes, like we just said a couple times, down year this year. I say he puts it past him, and he just absolutely crushes next season.
I would love to be wrong.
I think you will be
wrong. I'd
wrong.
love for Juan Soto to be number one come the end of the season. But based off of more of what Kyle Schwarber did again, I'll say it again, based more of what Kyle Schwarber did last year, I have to put him above Juan Soto for the time being.
I hate it. I hate it.
It's not your list.
I'm not trying to argue. I don't know why you're getting so defensive. I just don't like it. I'm just telling you I don't like it.
Tough.
And I told you why. I don't know. I didn't expect that. Especially from you. Big Juan Soto guy you are.
Big Juan Soto guy, yep. But you cannot deny the season that Kyle Schwarber just had when he also is not, he's not old either. Kyle Schwarber is also, he's going to be 30 this upcoming season. I just think that based off of last season, we have to put Kyle Schwarber above Juan Soto. I have to.
Yeah, I just can't agree with that. There's no way I can agree with it. I think at the end of the day, when you look at who adds more value to a team, the answer is Juan Soto. Even last year, the answer is Juan. I know Schwarber was a big part of that Phillies team. I know he was. But when you look at Soto, he gets on. It's not like he's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just he gets on base more. He creates more runs. And yes, that sounds like I'm just looking at their runs created, but I mean, at the end of the day, it does say something. If you can get on base and you're not going up there looking like I'm either going to hit this out of the park or I'm striking out. And usually there's no in between. Whereas with Soto, he could walk, he can single, he can do it all. I don't know. I just find that more valuable. But I know you're not going to be swayed, and I know you're going to continue on your thing, so, which is fair. Because it's like you said, it's your list. But, yeah, it's just my opinion.
Yep.
You have nothing else to say?
Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, congratulations.
Congratulations.
We're debating over whether or not you guys are the first or second best left fielders in all of baseball.
Which means you must be pretty good anyway, so.
Yep.
There you go. I don't even think it's close. But anyway, do you want to read your final list? And
Yeah, I'll go for it. So, my list of the top 10 left fielders going into next season is at 10, I have Christian Yelich, Randy Arozarena at 9, 8, I put Masataka Yoshida, 7, Mark, hit by pitch machine, Canna, 6, Jock Peterson, 5, Andrew Benintendi, 4, Ian Happ, 3, Stephen Barry Bonds Kwan, 2, Juan Soto, and 1, Kyle Schwarber.
Okay. My list is looking like Christian Yelich at 10, Michael Brantley at 9, Chris Bryant at 8. Who did I have at 7? Eloy Jimenez at 7, Randy Arozarena at 6, Andrew Benintendi at 5, Ian Happ at 4, Stephen Barry Bonds Kwan at 3, Kyle Schwarber at 2, and Juan Soto at 1. Let's go baseball.
Let's go baseball.
Let's go left field.
Left field.
A lot of good left fielders, as we just proved. And, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Next up, we have center fielders.
Woo!
So be ready for that. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.